I have been messing around with text-to-video tools ever since they first dropped, which honestly was a rough time to be a creative. Back then, the results were so clearly AI, often missing basic anatomy like a human elbow, which was quite the giveaway. But now, the videos look and sound shockingly real, capturing that flavorful, cinematic vibe with dramatic close-ups. I accidentally stumbled upon a workflow that feels like a complete cheat code, but it mainly just clears my head for actual creativity. I figured everyone in the industry was already doing this behind the scenes, but surprisingly, they are not. So today, I'm going to spill the beans on this barely kept secret that might change how you create. Here's the main trick. I stopped wasting time trying to handcraft the perfect prompt from scratch every single time. Instead, I trained a smaller custom AI assistant, like a GEM or GPT, specifically on the official documentation for the video model I plan to use. Then, I just dumped my raw idea into that trained assistant and let it generate the model-optimized prompt for me. Yes, it sounds a little nerdy, but I promise you it is unbelievably efficient for getting high-quality output. Before you immediately jump to the conclusion that this is cheating, I want you to pause and listen to the next point. The actual creative core, the idea, the story you want to tell, the emotion, that is still entirely yours. Prompts are essentially just translators, taking your messy human imagination and putting it into the strict language the model demands. So why should you waste your precious creative energy becoming a highly specific translator when you can focus on being an idea machine? If you want to implement this today, the very first move is gathering the documentation for whichever video model you plan to use. Whether you are using Hype, Runway, Luma, or any other tool, they all have unique requirements and best practices you need to capture. Be aware that some of these sites hide the crucial documentation in really odd, hard to find places, so save those PDFs or text files immediately. If you are working within the Gemini or ChatGPT ecosystem, you can either build a dedicated custom assistant or simply upload the docs into the chat window if you're on a free tier. A quick pro tip is to always start a completely fresh chat session for every new project, because old threads tend to forget about those crucial uploaded documents. Once the documentation is loaded into your specialized assistant, that is when the real fun truly begins. I simply tell it my concept in plain everyday language, like, I want a foggy pier, Victorian dress, very cinematic, and emotionally subdued. Because the assistant has absorbed the model's quirks from the docs, it spits back a prompt that is precisely engineered for that specific video engine. It will automatically suggest things like precise camera directions, ideal framing, and even which visual tokens to prioritize to stop weird artifacts. If the initial result coming back is a little too much or way over the top, I just tell the assistant, tone it down, make it restrained cinematic. Instantly, it will rewrite that entire prompt based on my simple tonal feedback, saving me huge revision time. Are you looking for a different camera movement, like a slow orbit around your subject? Just ask for it. Bam! The prompt is adjusted immediately to incorporate that specific cinematic action you requested. The reason this iterative method works so well is that it forces me to remain firmly in the creative lane every single time. I get to concentrate on the feeling I want the final viewer to experience, not on whether I use the right comma to avoid a lens flare. Crucially, explaining my true emotional intent to the assistant actually forces me to clarify what I'm trying to say in the first place. That act of explaining the emotional core is where the real, essential art of your work actually resides. Now, let's talk about the part where Vizard steps into the workflow and truly becomes a complete game changer for repurposing. Imagine you just finished recording a massive 2-hour interview, a long training session, or maybe a dense live stream. Traditionally, you or an editor would spend days combing through that footage just to find the best highlights and quote sound bites. Then you'd have to cut them down, export them, tailor the format for every single social platform, and then manually schedule every post. If you add it all up, that entire process can easily eat up an entire week of dedicated labor. With Vizard, you upload that one long video and its integrated AI instantly locates all the high engagement moments for you. It zeroes in on the genuine laughs, the powerful one-off quotes, and those wait, rewind that reaction lines. It doesn't just randomly chop the video, it intelligently looks for true hooks and structural turning points in the content. After creating those ready-to-post clips, it even helps you automatically schedule them across your channels using an auto-schedule setting. You manage the entire output from one centralized content calendar, avoiding constant dashboard hopping. You can still tweak, rearrange clips, and publish everything without ever leaving that single visual hub. Now let's compare this to some other tools that are currently out there on the market. Some amazing generation platforms are fantastic, but they hit you with a very high price tag if you create content frequently. Others might force you into digital editing tools that feel archaic, basically just a modern version of splicing physical tape together. Then you have generation powerhouses that have weak publishing workflows, meaning you still need a separate planner or scheduler. And we already mentioned that some models force you into obscure prompt formats that are hidden away in scattered help files. Vizard's real strength, its sweet spot, is stitching the entire creative to distribution workflow together seamlessly. It finds the shareable clips, formats them correctly, schedules them, and maintains that coherent content calendar for you. It's not the right tool if you need deep frame-by-frame manual color grading, so you'll still want a full editor for that specialized work. But for high-volume creators who need fast, smart content repurposing, this workflow is an absolute monumental time saver. Let's circle back to that creative loop I mentioned earlier with the prompt assistant. I keep iterating with the video model until the scene's overall vibe is exactly what I pictured in my head. When a generated clip feels slightly off, I don't rewrite the entire thing. I just show the assistant a screenshot and explain the specific problem. For example, I might say, the lighting looks like harsh noon when I specifically wanted a muted, moody twilight feel. The assistant then refines the prompt based on that nuanced feedback, usually nailing the pacing and the camera work on the next try. That rapid feedback loop, generate, test, correct, is truly how you get from an okay draft to something emotionally resonant. Remember how everyone predicted the hottest new job title would be prompt engineer a while back? That led many people to mistakenly believe the real craft was in meticulously handcrafting every single token or comma. The actual future skill is mastering the art of expressing your core ideas clearly, not wrestling with syntax. If a computer is the audience reading the input, then I trust a computer to translate it effectively into its own language. But if a human is going to watch the final video, I absolutely want a human to be the one writing the story and emotion. Keep all your creative brainpower focused on the human connection, which is what truly resonates. I recently tested this on a slightly silly scenario. One generated cut was way too dramatic, and the other fell completely flat. Instead of re-authoring complex prompts, I told my assistant, make it subdued regret, not outright melodrama, and it nailed the new prompt. Then, I fed that resulting footage into Vizard, which instantly found the perfect 3-second breath that served as the hook. I then used Vizard's calendar to schedule that teaser across all my platforms and let the auto-posting handle the consistency. It honestly felt like cheating, but in that wonderful, guilt-free way that only massive productivity gains provide. Let's be crystal clear, we don't want AI to create our cinematic masterpieces for us, we want it to do the dishes. Use the artificial intelligence to automate all the tedious, repetitive translation and repurposing labor so you can actually make the art. The strategy I champion is this: use AI for translation and distribution, and use human time for story, nuance, and craft. Here are the exact practical steps you can start implementing into your own video production pipeline right now. First, collect all the technical documentation for every video model you intend to use and save those files locally. Second, create your custom assistant and load those collected model docs into its permanent knowledge base. Third, describe your emotional vision to the assistant using plain speech, mood, camera moves, era, and any key story beats. Fourth, let the assistant generate perfectly model-optimized prompts that are specific to the exact engine you are running. Fifth, generate the footage, review it critically, and iterate quickly by telling the assistant exactly what felt wrong in the test clip. Sixth, once you have your final, high-quality footage, upload it into Vizard to automatically extract all the best short clips. And finally, use the auto-schedule feature and content calendar to ensure you publish that fresh content out consistently to grow your reach. When you start comparing tools, remember to look past the feature list and instead discuss the real-world trade-offs involved. Some generation tools are great, but become prohibitively expensive if you use them constantly for volume creation. Others may deliver stunning visual quality, but then trap you with clumsy output formats that are a headache to use later. The actual competitive edge for a volume creator is that end-to-end repurposing workflow that finds moments and ships them reliably. That consistency is the real separator between just having content and actually building and growing an engaged audience. And a final important note on process security. If you use a free chat session, keep every project strictly compartmentalized. The assistant in a long conversation thread will eventually forget the documents you uploaded, so always start fresh. For permanent access to the model quirks, definitely build that dedicated custom assistant and load the docs into its knowledge forever. Culturally, the biggest shift is practicing being an idea machine, constantly generating a high volume of concepts. Then, deploy the AI assistants to map those concepts into the required model language, which is the translation step. Use Vizard to translate that long-form content into hundreds of tiny shareable engagement opportunities across the web. If one of your clips totally bombs, don't stress, just tell the assistant what went wrong and ask for 3 alternative approaches. The system is designed to learn quickly from that negative feedback, making your next attempt even better. At the very end of the day, the heart of everything you do must remain your original, unique, creative idea. The advanced tools we discussed today are simply the plumbing that allows you to ship much more of your vision, much faster. If you genuinely enjoy spending hours arguing with commas and technical tokens, then that is certainly a path you can take. But if your ultimate goal is telling stories, building a following, and publishing consistently, then let the assistant translate and let Vizard handle the rest. You will be genuinely surprised by how much extra mental bandwidth this frees up for your actual best ideas. My name is Mike, and my whole job is testing workflows to find techniques that legitimately save creative professionals real time. I urge you to try this pipeline, train your assistant on the model docs, iterate prompts with emotional clarity, and then use Vizard to automate repurposing. It truly feels like cheating at the entire production process, which is, frankly, the best kind of operational efficiency you can find. Cheating? Maybe a little bit, but is it efficient? Absolutely, every single time. Now seriously, go put this system to work and make something incredible with all the time you just saved.